LA Guns has been playing sleaze rock for decades, but with the new album Leopard Skin, something feels different. Is it more of the same, or are they finally pushing their sound into this new direction? So let's talk about it and find out if LA Guns is finally evolving. LA Guns is one of those bands that has a very interesting history. The band dates back to the year 1983. In 1985, LA Guns merged with a band named Hollywood Rose and formed an early version of Guns N' Roses featuring Axl Rose and Tracy Guns, but Tracy Guns left the band and reformed his original band, LA Guns, and when they released their debut album, Phil Lewis took over on vocals. They were very popular in the late 80s, but never made it to the same heights as GNR. They're probably most known for the 1989 album Cocked and Loaded and their hit, The Ballad of Jane. Over the years, there were different versions of the band and this revolving door of musicians. It got confusing at times. There were different variations of the band, but Tracy and Phil got back together in 2017, and they've been releasing albums ever since then. The last album was called Black Diamonds from 2023. That was their 11th album, featured both Phil Lewis and Tracy Guns. That was preceded by the album Checkered Past from 2021. So as you can see, these guys have been very busy. They've been releasing albums about every 2 years. I remember that I really didn't like their last album that much, but I gave it a listen and I thought it was okay. I like this one a lot better, and I'll be talking about that more. Black Diamonds was pretty straightforward, as lots of songs with sleaze rock, some sounding like AC/DC or Motley Crue, but my score for Black Diamonds was a 7 out of 10, which means it was just okay for me. I felt Leopard Skin had a little different sound. I thought it was more diverse. There was more of an influence from 70s rock compared to that typical sleaze rock sound. You can even say the album is much more, or I would even say the most different sounding than their album American Hardcore, and that dates all the way back to the mid-90s. Back then they were going through that Pantera phase in the mid-90s like all the other bands. The production was also much better on this album compared to Black Diamond. Black Diamond had more of a muddy production value, and the best part of this album is that it has some songs that sounded like Cocked and Loaded, as well as others that were more experimental and delved into genres like funk, indie rock, acoustic rock. As for the lineup, it has Phil Lewis on vocals, Tracy Guns on guitar, Ace Von Johnson on guitar, Johnny Martin on bass, and Adam Hamilton on drums. But let me also mention that Sean Duncan is the live drummer for the band, but he did not play on the recorded tracks on this album. Now let me talk more about the songs from the album Leopard Skin. The album opens with a song called Taste It. It's a mid-tempo rocker with a great groove, slightly reminiscent of the song Feels Like the First Time by Foreigner, and you can hear that influence in the melody. Phil Lewis's vocals really shine here. They've got a nice swagger. The drumming from Adam Hamilton and the bass lines from Johnny Martin work well together, and thanks to solid production, you can hear them much more clearly. This track has a sound similar to the previous album, Black Diamonds, with that old school sleaze rock feel, influenced by AC/DC and the Rolling Stones. Tracy Guns delivers some excellent guitar work on this one as well. Next song is called Lucky MF. Second single, it features a killer opening bass line from Johnny Martin. It's the track where the album really starts to find its own sound. It's a little different. You can hear elements of classic 70s rock, a touch of funk. There's like this twist. There's this unexpected interlude where Phil Lewis switches to cleaner vocals. I thought that was pretty fun. It has that sleaze rock vibe, but I like the use of the cowbells in the drum beat. Reminded me a bit of 70s Kiss, some early Motley Crue, and had a cool music video showing the band in Hollywood. Next up is The Grinder, a blues rock track with some slide guitar. Sounds like a cross between Whitesnake and Led Zeppelin. Tracy Guns is a well-known Led Zeppelin fan. You can hear that influence here. It's a slower, sleazier track with clean production, dirty, distorted guitar. It has a mix that gives us this really cool sound, and it's also a standout track. Then there's Hit and Run. This took me by surprise. It feels like REM in the 80s with some Velvet Underground mixed in. It has this beautiful guitar playing. Johnny's bass is subtle but very effective. You can hear it in the background. Phil Lewis takes a cleaner, more melodic vocal approach here. It's a laid-back song, not necessarily a power ballad, but definitely different for the band. The guitars have a cleaner tone, and overall, it's a mid-pace rocker with a cool, mellow vibe. After that comes Don't Give Me Away, another rocker with a strong groove. It's one of those fun tracks you can just rock out to. It got that catchy, sleazy vibe. It feels like a throwback to their classic sound. So they were experimenting on the previous track, but I think they wanted to bring back that old school sound on this one. I'd even say the guitar tone here is a little heavier and even grungier. The solo features some blues rock elements with some flanger and some whammy bar effects. So it's a memorable song. If you want to support this channel for only 99 cents a month, you get early access to my videos. For $2.99 a month, not only you get early access, but you can make a review request. There's a join button below or a link in the video description. Thanks for the support. Back to the video. We're about halfway through now. Next track is I'm Your Candyman. It feels like a mix of Led Zeppelin and the Beatles. It's got that fun, sing-along quality to it. Some of the guitar work reminded me of early Kiss. The solo had elements of like Angus Young from AC/DC. The lyrics were filled with these sleazy innuendo, and the guitar tone is dirty, distorted, and just the way that you would expect from this band. Next is Runaway Train. This one really stands out. It has this John Lee Hooker style blues playing with some old school country mixed in, but also a little bit of rock edge. I heard hints of early Aerosmith, some Led Zeppelin. It's an energetic track with this traveling road kind of vibe. It was more of a rock and acoustic number, not something the band does often, but they pulled it off well. Sounds like something you would hear on an old Led Zeppelin album. There are 3 more songs in the album. First is Following the Money. The band returns to their classic sleaze rock sound. Dirty, distorted guitars, and all that swagger. I caught a little bit of that Rolling Stones vibe here as well, and very representative of the band's style. The second to last track is The Masquerade. It starts with an acoustic guitar and strings, and before the electric guitar kicks in, Phil Lewis delivers a more emotional vocal performance, and the song features a very melodic solo. And this is the album's true power ballad, that classic style, the bluesy influences, the orchestration, very reminiscent of their big hit, The Ballad of Jane, from the late 80s. And the last song is Cold If You Want To. It's a mid-tempo rocker, very representative of the album sound overall, and features cool guitar riffs, an old school vibe with some softer acoustic guitars, and it goes right into the solo, a solid way to end the album. Now for my final thoughts on Leopard Skin. I think the band's been pretty consistent over the years, but compared to the last few albums, it feels more unique. They're evolving their sound, leaning more towards a 70s classic rock sound, but they still keep that sleaze rock edge that we all know them for. So one thing that really stands out is the improved musicianship and production. The variety in the album is refreshing. A lot of sleaze rock albums tend to sound the same, but Leopard Skin throws in some surprises. There are some songs here that reminded me of Cocked and Loaded from 1989, but they also take some new directions that the band has never explored before. To be honest, I've never been a huge fan of this band. I mainly reviewed this album because I thought it would resonate with my Gen X audience, but surprisingly, I really liked it. I give it a solid 8 out of 10, higher than what I gave the last album, so that's a good sign. So if you want to see my review of Black Diamonds, I will stick that right here so you can check it out next. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks again. I will see you in the next one.